I'm Savanah Silva, and this is my national issue speech.
Geez, everybody. Yeah. And me, the cameraman.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We all had the Pledge of Allegiance memorized by age 5 and harmonized by age 7. But recently the government has been making moves to cut the word God out of the pledge. This is just one incident of how our society today struggles with Christianity in our public school systems. As parents of children in the school system and as adolescents in school yourself, you know exactly what I'm talking about. As a child myself who went through the public school system, I know firsthand what the separation of church and state can do. Today I'm going to inform you how Christianity has slowly been removed from our school system and the effects this can have on students. Even though the public school system isn't required to relate religion or Christianity into its teachings, the government has made moves to completely remove what little church there is in the school system. The Supreme Court case of Engel versus Vitale that happened in 1962 shows what happens when the government intervenes with religion in public schools. According to court records on uscourts.gov, a website dedicated to documenting all major court documents, a parent sued on behalf of his child against the New York state law that required public schools to open every day with a pledge and a prayer. The parent said this violated the First Amendment, and unfortunately the courts agreed. They ruled in favor of the parent 8-1. Not only did this case ban religion in all public schools in the state of New York, it allowed for other states to look at any possible violations to the First Amendment that they may have. The case of Engel versus Vitale was one of the first cases to open the government's seemingly closed eyes to religion in its school system. Public schools, thanks to the government, must follow strict guidelines on what they can and can't say when regarding the teachings of the church. The Center for Public Education.org, a website by the National School Board Association, states that public schools must obey two legal requirements that are hard to reconcile: let it be, but also push it away. Schools must almost stand there with their hands tied behind their backs because of all the regulations put in place to keep from crossing the line. The government has such a tight grip on public schools that at one point religion and the teachings of how it was centuries ago were almost removed from school textbooks. The New York Times published an article about how religion has seemingly been removed from historical texts and workbooks. The New York Times interviewed Donald Eklund, vice president of the School Board Association of American Publishers. He said this: textbooks simply reflect the demands made by the school districts. If they wanted religion, they could easily have it. I kind of find this contradicting, considering just as fast as the textbooks can be printed, the government would be there saying this is a violation of the First Amendment. Now, I can't ignore that Christianity isn't every person's chosen religion. The separation of church and state allows for society to choose what path they want to go on. According to procon.org, a website that gives both sides to intriguing arguments, stated that there are 313 religions and denominations in the U.S. alone. This number is much bigger than many of us could have ever thought. With so many different religions, causing schools to focus in on one, Christianity, can cause parents to feel like their religion is below the more popular one. This issue is all about understanding and compassion. Many times, society can attack someone for having opposing views to the ones that they choose, rather than accepting what they have decided to do. As long as it doesn't affect you or your child in a negative way, the Constitution gives a person free rein to freedom of religion. While the government may see it fit to remove the teachings of Christianity and anything pertaining to it from the schools, the effects this can have on students may be deeper than thought. Christianity is more than just the teachings of the Lord. Christianity allows for a person to truly engage in deeper thinking. We all have the blessed opportunity to go to a school that not only teaches religion, but critical thinking about the world and yourself. Zenit.org, a Rome-based website that focuses on the teachings of religion and the Pope itself, conducted a study to see how religion truly impacted students. Results showed that students exposed to religious activity are more likely to score higher on tests, have higher expectations of themselves, and are less likely to drop out of school. I feel like ACU is living proof of this data. If you just look at your peers, you'd soon realize religion has nothing but positive outcomes when allowed in schools. Critical thinking is something that allows for a person to find out a lot about themselves. The Lord created each of us with a purpose in mind. The only way to truly discover this is to perfect your walk with Him. That can't happen if a person is under constraints due to regulations. This country cannot remove the rights it was based on. The Constitution was put in place to allow for an appropriate and humane base to be formed. Today's society cannot take away a student's God-given right to learn and question about religion in schools. Schools are supposed to be a sanctuary where a student can feel safe bringing up a topic, not feel scared that they're going to face repercussions. Dr. Patrick Fannigan, a writer for Heritage.org, a public policy research institute, stated this: "Far from shielding the American people from religious influence, the founders of this nation promoted the freedom of religion and praised the benefits that it brings to society." This statement further reinforces my belief that when religion isn't allowed in the schooling system, we are truly ruining the basis of this nation. Today I describe to you how Christianity is slowly being choked out of our public school system, while also giving you the positive and negative effects this can have on the students. The Lord wants every piece of us, whether that be our athletic ability, our academic ability, or some ability that we haven't yet learned. He wants it all. The day that public schools are allowed to freely teach and allow religion in their doors is the day that Proverbs 22:6 will reign true. "Train up a child in the way he should go, and when he is old, he will not depart from it."
Yay. Cheese whiz. Yay. And cut.